Hello, hello, hello. A little bit early for the live stream. Just waiting for some people to get in here. It's 6:50 Eastern Standard Time. We'll have some people coming up here shortly. I appreciate everybody who's come by and spent some time with me. Doing another StreamYard. I hope this goes better than when Jared King and I were on here. I had a good conversation with Jared. The only thing is, he and I were the only ones who knew. So, anyway, I'll be interviewing Amber with Amber's ParaWorld and talking with her. And hopefully I can maintain this thing where we can actually talk. Somebody's in the room. Welcome, whoever's in here. You hadn't made yourself known yet. Uh, please help yourself to the complimentary hors d'oeuvres and punch. How was everybody's weekend? I'm outside, so in case y'all hear some cats fighting or some unusual sounds, or if I'm screaming, then something's really wrong. But other than that, it should be pretty quiet out here. We got 3 people. Who we got in the room? Make yourself known. How was everybody's weekend? What'd we do? I didn't do a whole lot of anything really. Worked in the shop. I was so happy to get back out in the shop because the weather's cooled down. I was just ecstatic to get back in there, but also I got to do a lot of cleanup in the shop. But I'll get it cleaned up. All right, we got 4 people in here. Can somebody chat or? Oh, okay. I was on the wrong page. Hey, Mary. Hey, Eli. Hey, Barb. Who else is in there? Can y'all hear me okay? I want to be safe, Barb, so I'm wearing the mask. Anyway, and I'm nauseatingly ugly. Well, I appreciate everybody coming in. And we should be having Amber in at some point. Thank you, Barb. No, can't hear me. All right, Mary. I'll go to screaming and you'll be hating you said that. So, was everybody's weekend good? Hey, thank you, Eli. I appreciate that. How are you feeling? Are you doing all right, buddy? Yeah, I miss. Well, was it the Sunday before last, 2 weeks ago? I tried to have a um, live with Jared King TV. Jared and I had a nice interview. The only thing was it was private and nobody else heard it but us. So anyway, I want to interview Jared again. And we had a real nice talk. I really enjoyed it. So, how are things in jolly old England, Mary? Barb, I'm in North Carolina, and yeah, it's actually pretty dark here right now. I'm sitting on my porch, and I in the evening time, if weather permitting, I'm out here on my porch. I just enjoy it outside, and I've got my cat Robbie. I have to spend time with her, so I'll get out here and pet on her for a while, and she kind of. And if my dog stretches out, he's on one side wanting petting, and then she's on the other. It's getting cold in North Carolina, Mary. And we've got just a few minutes, and Amber should be coming in. So we'll see. I think you maybe an hour difference, Barb. But of course, it's, won't be too much longer. Daylight savings time will hit again. I'm just so happy to be able to be out in my shop. I've got just several projects I want to be able to do out there, but it gets so hot out there. This past summer, I just couldn't deal with it. I'd go out there for short bursts, work outside, but that was about as good as I could do. Mary, you've been putting out some nice videos. I wish I was that talented to know how to work all that technology stuff, but I'm not. So we've got somebody jumping in and out. Stay a while. Was everybody ready for the week ahead of us? I've got some small projects going on, nothing big. I'm kind of in a period now that's historically slow for me, but I work out in my shop doing stuff, and I've always got projects out there to do, and I've got a couple I'm working on that I'm going to show on the channel. And I appreciate you still being here, Eli. And I've got to check my email for a second. Excuse me, y'all. I'll be right back with y'all. Sorry about that. The geese are flying by. Y'all might hear them. Sometimes they come, seems like right over the house. And there's a water place right behind me. Well, y'all, I want to introduce my guest. My guest is Amber with Amber's ParaWorld. And I've been subscribed to her channel for quite a while, and she's agreed to come on here and talk with us. Let us find out the nitty gritty about her channel. And let's bring her up.
Hello.
Hey, Amber, can you hear and see everything on the screen all right?
Yes, I have to use my phone right now. I had to run out the holler because our Wi-Fi went out. So,
Oh, okay.
but yeah, I can click on the chat a little bit. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, I appreciate you coming on and talking to us.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, I'm gonna try to keep eye on the chat, y'all, but we're gonna find out the nitty gritty details on Amber's channel. And
Hello,
Barb
everyone.
is eating smoked pork butt. So, how long have you had your channel, Amber?
I've been posting videos for just a little over a year.
Uh huh.
And middle of September was like the 1 year mark.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, your channel's grown pretty quick. Mine, I think my I had under 50 subscribers for I can't tell you how long, and I've been, is it 7 years now? Yeah, 7 years.
It's
And
hard starting out.
yeah, you have a good response on yours. I had like 50 videos out before I got my first response.
Oh gosh.
And I was so happy to have them. Hello, Farm and HVAC. Thank you for coming by. And well, okay, your channel, you deal with a lot of you do card reading and stuff like that. Forgive me if I don't. kind of have a rudimentary knowledge of it. So if I
Well,
don't,
that's okay.
you do some card reading and you do some paranormal investigations. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And what was the scariest investigation you ever done?
At my house in the woods, the one that's recently uploaded.
Oh,
Absolutely the scariest.
I was watching that one because you premiered it, I believe, or either I caught it
Yes.
after the live or something.
Yes.
And do you know the history of the area back there?
Um, the house was built in 1850, and there's an unmarked cemetery on the property.
Oh, really?
But it's not just us who have things in the woods. Some people about a quarter mile down the road are seeing faces in their shed and having some stuff happen. So I think it's like it might be the whole area. I'm not sure, but I may
Wow.
go investigate and kind of look into it and see what it is.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Sometimes they don't tell me. I mean, sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't.
Yeah. What kind of feeling do you get off? Do you get bad vibes off the presences you feel back there? I know in that video the other night you were getting some bad vibes.
Yeah, there's two entities that show themselves as like a black blob with like
Uh-huh.
these weird eyes, and sometimes they show horns. I don't think they're demons. I don't think they were ever human though either. Probably, I'm thinking like maybe some kind of I don't know if it's like an elemental guardian spirit. I don't know what they are honestly, but
Uh-huh.
they do. We kind of, I don't know if I want to say made a deal with them or not, but a couple years ago, I had asked them not to come down past the woods because they had been coming in the yard, and I don't know if they came in the house or not because several years ago my little girl saw this black shadow figure, and I think it was one of them, and she saw it in the house. So I asked them, I was like, you can stay here, just stay up there. Don't come down here. And so far
Uh-huh.
they've done that. They've listened. They've been really good about that, but they're still really negative. They don't like people
Really?
been up there.
Uh-huh. When I was really young, and this has been a long time ago, this lady asked me, said, "You ever see things around graveyards and stuff?" I'm like, well, tombstones, She said, "No. Do you ever see
Mhm.
stuff that you can't explain?" I said, "No." And she told me, she said, "Well, children are better at seeing this type of stuff than adults." And it took me, it was probably 10, 20 years later before I finally figured out what that lady was talking about, seeing apparitions or,
Mhm.
you know, uh, excuse me, I don't know if that's the proper language for it, but, like gray people. And,
Yeah.
but I've got gray people at my house. Of course, there's my relatives, and they prank me and stuff. They'll make noises, wake me up, or like do knocks on the door, and I'll go there to the door, and nothing's there. It is a knock. I know as good as anything, it's a
Yeah.
knock.
Does it ever scare you?
No, I'm so used to it now. It don't really, because I know, because sometimes I'll go by a door and I'll see something like a shadow or something, and I'll go back because I know it was something moved in that other room, but it's gone at that point. And my dogs see some stuff, and they aren't really keen on the dog being in the house because I think these are older spirits, but they kind
Yeah.
of tolerate them, you know. Hey, Debbie, welcome to the chat. Thank you for coming, hon.
Hello. Yeah, pets can definitely see them.
Yeah.
Used to have a dog. He's passed away now, but he would just stand and stare and growl in the hallway, and his hair would stand up, and there'd be
Uh-huh.
nothing there. But yeah, they can
Yeah.
definitely see them.
Yeah. I had a little Chihuahua. She was more in tune to stuff like that because
Hmm.
I think if a grasshopper jumped on the property, she knew it, but she'd see stuff. But they came from that time period, and I'm conjecturing this that people just didn't have animals in the house. If you had a
Right.
cat in the house, it was for mice control or mouse control. And but I think they kind of still didn't like that. But evidently they love me enough where they tolerated it, and they just increased their pranks on me.
Yeah. See,
Now,
I think a lot of people forget too, like when they're experiencing things in their home, it's kind of like a lot of people freak out, and that's understandable. Some people, get really spooked by this stuff, but we also forget how powerful our words are. You can be firm with them and say, you know what, get out of my house, stay out in the yard. You know what I mean? You can tell them that,
uh,
and don't be like, you know, well, I'd really like it if you'd stay outside and not bother me. Just tell them, say, this is my house. You have to, you have to wait outside. And,
Uh-huh.
you know, sometimes just doing that, sometimes they'll listen. Sometimes they don't, you know, they're like toddlers. Some of them listen, some don't. But, you
Yeah.
know, a lot of times that can help.
Uh,
So, like, if you know you're getting scared from something, just ask it to go outside or tell it to.
yeah. Which I've sensed them since I was little, but I've never been scared of them. You know, even when I was little, I weren't really. I've got kind of a ease feeling, really. And
Hmm.
I did a video about this. I was working on my great aunt's tombstone. She died when she was like 14, I believe, and her tombstone was knocked over. So I took, cleaned it up, and fixed it. Well, I think my relatives know I take on too many projects at one time. So what they did, they started kind of increasing their activity to get that tombstone back out to where it was supposed to be.
Hmm.
Well, I was, and I put a rush job on it, but I had it looking real nice. I painted the letters of her name and all that again.
Yeah.
And one morning I woke up and it was like 4 o'clock in the morning. Well, it was like two 12 to 14-year-old girls talking like they were real excited about something. And I could hear them plain as day, but I couldn't make out their words. But I knew it was two girls. And I said, that tombstone's going back today. So I went and put
Yeah.
it back up. And, other than the usual stuff, the little pranks they pull on me, I just don't have a lot of activity. It all depends. I imagine around Halloween they'll increase it just to, you know, aggravate me some, but that's all right too.
Probably. Yes.
Now, now, that house you live in, was that your home place or something?
No, no. We've kind of lived in a lot of different places, kind of different counties. We've moved around a lot. We've been here about 20 years.
Uh-huh.
And when we first moved in, we it was family who had lived there for a few years first. They had some teenagers that lived in the house, but when we moved in, all the bedrooms were painted black with you know, the pentagrams and 666 all over the place. So we just painted over them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I mean, it was probably a red flag, but because I mean, it's possible they could have done something to get stuff kind of stirred up because there was
yeah.
definitely activity when we moved in.
Uh-huh. Wow. Now, are you from West Virginia?
Yes,
You are. Well, I'm
yes.
glad you said that because we've got a little test we're going to give you.
All right.
You want to take the test? It's 15 questions.
Okay.
All
I'll
right.
try.
Now, all right, I'm going to have to lose sight of the screen so I can ask you
Okay.
these. All right, can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. What is the capital of West Virginia?
Charleston.
How you spell that?
Charleston.
Yes. Okay, you're doing good. What's your state bird?
Cardinal.
Got that one right. What's your state flower?
Rhododendron.
You're doing good. Okay, the state tree.
Oh my gosh, I have no idea. Maybe a maple, but I'm not sure.
Ah, you got it. Sugar maple.
Okay.
Uh, what is West Virginia's state animal?
I think it's a black bear, but I could be wrong.
No, you're right. For extra credit, when was that adopted?
I have no idea.
1973. That was good though. You got that. Does West Virginia have state colors?
Well, typically when you associate West Virginia, it always is associated with the Mountaineer football team, which is blue and gold. So that's kind
Yeah,
of like what everybody associates it with.
you got that one right. Was Virginia and West Virginia named? Is it after Queen Elizabeth the First?
Oh Lord, I have no idea. But I know there's a lot of people that does not know West Virginia's a state. You'll tell them you live in West Virginia, and they're like, "Is that near Richmond?" No. We're
Oh,
hours away.
really?
Whole different state.
Uh, it was named after England's Virgin Queen. So
Yeah, I didn't know that.
you got me on that. We'll pass. We'll give you credit on that one. That one's kind of convoluted anyway. Uh, what's one of West Virginia's state songs?
Well, the most popular one is John Denver's Country Roads, and people sing that. But it's not really. I don't guess it's really a state song, but people associate that with the Mountaineer football team when they win a game. They always play it, and they
Uh
have for as long as I can remember.
huh. I've got. I think that was one listed because I lost my set of questions. Possible answers,
There's
and
one like the West Virginia Hills that like people. It's an older
yep,
one. I have
you
not heard
got
it
it.
for a long time.
That was it. You got it.
Okay.
Okay. What's West Virginia's highest point?
Is it Spruce Knob?
Yep, that's it.
Okay.
You're doing good. Okay, we only got like six more. So, what year did West Virginia become a state?
1863.
Yeah, God, you're better at trivia than I am. I thought I was pretty good at trivia. Hey, y'all, I can't see the chat. Welcome to everybody who just came in. I'm sorry, I'm looking at this other screen. What is West Virginia's rank in size compared to the other states?
I'm not sure, but I know you can make it on your hands. Like you can hold on. There's like a way you can do it on your hands, like make the shape of it. I mean, it depends on what state you're talking about because there's some that are smaller and obviously some that
Yeah,
are a lot larger.
yeah.
So I'm not.
The correct answer is evidently 41 in size. 41st
Oh,
in size.
I didn't know that.
How many counties are in West Virginia?
56 or 53, 55, 55.
You got it,
Okay.
55. You're doing a little bit too good here. So, what's West Virginia state insect?
Hmm. I don't know. Lightning bugs? I don't know.
Hey, there are a lot up there. The honeybee.
Honeybee. See, I knew
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
What is the West Virginia butterfly?
Monarch.
You got it. All right, this is the last one. West Virginia state fruit is what?
What'd you say? Yeah, there was a car going by. What?
What's West Virginia's state fruit?
I believe it's apples, isn't it?
Yes, it is. The
Like
the
Granny
golden
Smith or something?
delicious.
Oh,
Yeah,
Golden Delicious. Yeah.
yeah. You did real good on that. So, so you won that. Thanks for playing. Welcome, Vera. Everybody I missed. I'm sorry. I was on the other
Hello,
screen trying to
everyone.
read. Now you do a little bit of homesteading on the property, don't you?
Yes.
What all you got on there?
We have ducks and geese and chickens.
Uh,
We did do rabbits, but we kind of got out of that. But now I do have one rabbit. I've got a Flemish giant. He just kind of runs around the yard. He's huge. And we
oh,
have goat.
really? How many acres you got?
It's a little over 2.
Okay,
So
you can
a
do a
lot of it,
lot
some
with
of it's
two
in the
acres.
woods.
Uh,
I wish we had more.
yeah, it's always the case. And I've got rabbits, chickens, and feral cats. Well, one's not feral anymore. And then I found a little kitten, and she's inside now. She tears us up. She loves. I let her loose for today, and she's in there chasing her brother, Stretchy. It's funny. This little cat that can fit in a corn can, chasing this big dog around, and she don't know no fear or nothing.
Well, we do have fish, cats, and dogs, but if anybody is looking for guppies, mine bred like crazy, and I've got like a bunch of guppies. So y'all holler at me. I'll give them
Uh,
to you.
Guppies are good about that. They definitely are. Now, do you have
Yeah.
a big garden?
Um, Not right now, but we usually try to like grow stuff that we'll eat, which is we eat a lot of lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers. My little one loves salads, and then sometimes we'll grow like peppers and stuff, and and I'll usually can the cucumbers, make pickles, and that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
But we didn't do a big garden this year because my goats keep eating it if they get out. So
Oh yeah, goats are good about that. They're about. I've had goats. They're about darn near impossible to keep in.
yeah, and so we do have like a 4 foot fence, but they can clear it if they really want to.
Oh heck
Um,
yeah.
I moved my chickens and fenced off a part of the yard that we don't use, like kind of up near the woods, but we mow it. So I'm letting them kind of till it up right now. So in the spring, I'll move them back to where they used to be, and then I'll put my garden there because the ground will be ready for it.
Uh-huh.
So I'm
Yeah,
making
that.
work.
Yeah. Hey, that put them on an area and let them sit there for a while, then till it in. They'll make a good garden spot next year.
Yeah, I don't like to keep things that don't work.
Yeah.
Like my
Yeah.
goats, I'll breed them, which they didn't take this time. They should have already had babies, but I guess the buck was no good that I used because none of them were bred. But we milk them and make cheese, and I wanted to try to make some soap this year. Like enough to last for a year.
Uh-huh.
But I didn't get the chance to do that yet. So we'll hopefully be rebreeding them maybe around December, and then we'll have like April babies. So
Yeah.
and then like the duck eggs, we'll use them for eggs. We did have a gander, and I did sell goslings the last couple of years, but the ganders always get mean and bite me, and then I end up with
Uh-huh.
bruises all over my arm. So I sold my gander.
So do you make your own soap?
Um, well, I haven't yet, but I've watched a lot of videos. There's a lot of farm channels that I follow on YouTube, and I've got some good recipes that I want to try. That's what I was looking forward to doing if they had babies. They would have been due September 29th, and none of them were pregnant. So, but my goats are
Yeah.
just fat, so I really couldn't tell.
Yeah. Yeah. I make my own soap. I've got enough of soap to last me till 10 years after I'm dead. And
That's
I-
awesome.
it's now I'll tell you, it's habit forming and it's highly addictive and it's so relaxing. Sometimes when I couldn't sleep in the middle of the night, I'd get out on the porch and make a batch of soap. And
Yeah, I was looking forward to trying to make some goat milk soap, and even canning milk. I wanted to can some of it and put it on the shelf, but I didn't get to yet. So hopefully next spring I will.
so you built a barn for your goats all by yourself?
Yes. Other than I
Okay.
needed Tim's help to like set the post because I couldn't hold it and do the concrete at the same time. But
Uh,
but yeah, the roof needs redone. I mean, I did my best, but it leaks a little, so I had to throw a tarp on it. But it works.
hey, that's what counts. And goats, I mean, that's like I had pigs. I had a movable shed for them. I had their water on there. Well, I had this contraption that caught their water, and I had their feed on there too, where I could stock up on their feed. But pigs,
Hmm.
if it's out there, they'll eat it. So, but now, and
Yeah, I
that's
would like
good to
to
clean
fill
up
up some
too.
gutters and catch rainwater to use for water, and like set up a system where the rainwater will fall into a barrel, and there's like some kind of end on the barrel where it automatically fills a bowl. I think that would be
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, and they make stuff like that. They make about everything. Hey, Jerry, welcome to the chat. Thank you for stopping in, my friend. And what's the best thing you can grow that's your specialty?
Mm, growing, the easiest one to grow is mint. I have a ton of it, and it comes
Uh,
back every year. But I really enjoy tomatoes and cucumbers. Those are my favorite to grow. And pumpkins.
uh,
We did. My goats ate my pumpkins this year. I had several starting to grow, and they got a hold of them. So
uh,
we didn't
hey,
get pumpkins. We had to buy them.
yeah. Are you in a safe place where you're at?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
I
good.
noticed it was kind of I didn't know where you're at. Okay.
I'm
And,
actually at a church parking lot, but Tim's with me, so we're good.
oh,
He's
okay.
watching the game on his phone.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Tell him I said I appreciate him. and,
His
but
team's playing, so
who's his team?
Tampa Bay.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Hey, thanks everybody for coming into the chat. And if y'all hadn't checked out Amber's channel. Check it out. She's got a good channel. She's got something going on. And now, how often do you drop videos, Amber? Do you have a schedule, or is it just?
I cannot stick to the schedule. I've tried, but I really can't because it's just I never know what I'll be doing because I homeschool too, and then plus the animals. It's just sometimes the only time I get to edit is like during the night when it's really quiet. So usually I'm up till like 3 or 4 in the morning, and then back up early the next day. So um, I have another video that I need to edit. I did talk a friend, which is my neighbor, into going in the woods with me because I wanted to see if the spirits up there would say, talk really loud like they were with someone else there. They did. They
Uh,
weren't as loud, but they did say stuff. But I need to edit that one and get it out. So
yeah. Now I'm kind of I have to have a little bit of a schedule, or I'm the type to look back like I've already made my schedule for tomorrow, everything I'm going to do. Because if I don't have a schedule, then it kind of just goes awry. So I have to have a schedule on things. And that's on my videos and stuff. And a lot of times I've got videos for the next couple of months already lined up. Of course, I have the cheapest, videos on YouTube. So, it don't take me long. I can shoot one and then just download it. So,
yeah, yeah, it takes me forever to edit videos. But
yeah, I tried. I'm not any good at it because it starts getting on my nerves. It's just one of those things. It's not my thing. I see a lot of people. Well, you just have to keep practicing at it, and I know it's not one of my specialties, so I'm all right with that.
yeah, especially if I use like the necrophonic app, it's hard to hear what's been said, so I have to like slow it down and listen to it over and over and increase the volume. It takes forever. And I know people have asked me like, how come I don't use the SB7 spirit box, like the ones that are like, that kind of noise. But
Yeah,
for me personally, I don't like it. Like that noise aggravates me. I could not sit and listen to it and edit it. It's like a sensory thing. I can't deal with it. Like I can watch it in other people's videos for a little while, but like I could not sit there and edit that. So
yeah.
the Necrophonic app kind of takes that out, but I get direct answers from it. So I know the app is like, at least for me, it works. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm like that.
until it stops working, I'll use it.
Now I'm like that about sounds too. Like if somebody leaves their car door open and you just got that pinging going on, and a lot of times
Hmm.
it ain't even my car door. I'll say, "Oh, I shut it for you. I thought you left it open." Which oh no, I was going to go back in. Oh, I'm sorry, I just didn't want to hear that. Ping, 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 ping. Because it getting on my
Yes.
last nerve.
I know it's like nails on a chalkboard. Some sounds do that to me, and I can't deal with it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Now, you've only got the daughter, correct? That's in your videos, or do you?
Yes.
Okay.
I have a stepdaughter that's 15, and
Oh,
then we
okay.
have and my little one's 8. So
Oh, okay. So you homeschool both of them?
no, no, the older one she goes to high school. She goes
Oh,
to
okay.
public school.
Uh, okay. I would tell you the way things are. If mine were small, mine are grown. But if they were small, I'd consider homeschooling them some way, somehow.
Yeah. I mean, it's so much different. Like, because I went to public school. Of course, back in the 80s and 90s, it was a lot different than it is now. But it's not the same when you homeschool, and a lot of people think it is, but it's not. You don't have to do it for like 9 hours a day or 8 hours a day. But now my little one, she's never been in public school, and she's always like, "Oh, I hate school. I have to get up and do this." And I'm like, "You have no idea what it's like
Yeah,
to get up in the dark and walk to the bus stop and wait on it or whatever." But she has a lot of sensory processing issues, and she's ADHD, and it's really bad. I don't medicate her for it. We just kind of try to work around it, but
yeah,
it's hard sometimes. Sometimes it'll take me 4 or 5 hours to do 45 minutes worth of work, and it's sometimes by the end of the day I'm just like
yeah,
it can be stressful.
yeah. I had a friend of mine. Her daughter was ADHD, but she worked in that field and she was able to teach her coping mechanisms. And this girl's in college now, and she's like off the charts smart, and I'm doing
Oh
real
yeah.
well in college. And but now
Mine likes hands-on activities,
yeah, yeah,
but
and
sometimes I can't do hands-on with certain things. When you're trying to learn, certain words and certain things in the English language. There's not a lot of hands-on stuff with a lot of it.
uh,
But but yeah, she could. she can process a meat bird and pull a baby goat out of a goat. You know what I mean? Like she knows how to do all that.
Yeah. Hey,
She knows a
Jenny.
lot more than most adults do that I know.
Yeah. And there was a couple. They homeschooled. They had 3 or 4 boys, and all these guys, when they went to college, they were going to they were getting scholarships to Yale and Princeton, and a lot of them were
Hmm.
going to be doctors, but they were homeschooled, and they it was kind of they said we have a lot of times because we had to do what we had to do because their family. I think they were okay, but they did like your daughter did, processing animals and stuff. But these guys,
Hmm.
they were just off the chart smart, all of them. But I read that article and I tried to trace it back, but I can't find the article about these guys. I always wondered how their future success was. I feel like they were successful because they were real grounded and kind of knew
Hmm.
how to take care of themselves.
See, and I always tell, like, I'll tell both girls, but and I always tell my daughter, whatever you want to do in life, if you want to be a pediatrician or a vet, I'll support you 100%. But if you want to sit on the side of the road and sell homemade pickles and watermelons, I'll support you too, because I want you to do something that you love. It's not
Yeah,
always about money. It's about what makes you happy, because there's nothing worse than being in a job because you need the money that you hate and you hate going to every day. I mean, I would never want that for either one of them. If you want to go sing in a band, whatever they want, like I'll support them.
yeah, that's great that you'll do that because I know you've been in that situation. You're working a job. There was one job I
Oh
worked.
yeah.
And every morning I got up, I said, just making these noises. And I went in. Finally, I'd finished up college, and there was no opportunity for me there. So I was married at the time. So I told my wife, I said, I'm probably going to quit. So I quit, and it was about 2 or 3 months later, I got a better job where I was able to use my degree. And but I stayed with that job way too long and hated every minute of it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot. I think people need to also normalize even like trade schools, because those kind of jobs are needed too. And you know, people need to. I think a lot of people try to force their kids. Like if they are a lawyer, then they want their kids to do the same thing. Whether it's what they want
Yeah,
or not. But
yeah.
we have to get out of that habit and let them be their own person, because so many people get stuck, living this life they didn't want because they're trying to please people.
Yeah. Hey, Amy, welcome to the chat. And you're right about that because I kind of had aspirations of different stuff in my life, and I wasn't cut out for it. And there's no shame in that. It wasn't my area of expertise, and I'm okay with it. I'm pretty much doing what I love. I eat pretty regular when I want to, so you know.
Yeah, that's me. It's like, as much as my animals drive me crazy, and anybody that raises animals knows exactly what I mean. Like,
Yeah,
I wouldn't trade it for anything. Like, and
yeah.
staying home and homeschooling my daughter, like I wouldn't trade it for nothing. Even as, I mean, it's stressful, but everything's stressful. Everything can
Oh
be
yeah,
stressful. Like, we have so much fun too. There's a lot of good times and that take over that are more than the stressful times. I guess that's where I'm getting at.
oh yeah.
But yeah,
Well, that's like people tell me about my animals, about the cost and the feed and all. I said, well, really, my animals keep me from throttling people. So, they provide that balance to keep the rest of the world safe from me.
yes. Yeah, I was working on the fences today, and I was moving this. I should have waited till I had help, but I moved this 12-foot long pallet that was it was over 100 pounds, and I needed to move it because I need to burn it and get rid of it. But it was up really high, and I moved it, and it like fell, and I've got this huge bruise down the side of me now. But I'm
Uh,
good.
yeah.
I'm always getting cut by fins or stepping on something, but
Oh, yeah. That's part of you're all the time
that's
getting
the name of
tore
the
up.
game. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
Eli.
had one.
I did a video on Amy's channel talking about my farm. My people settled this land, and I'm like the probably sixth, seventh, eighth generation on it. I could tell you more closely if I had time to count and I didn't have my shoes on. But yeah, my family's been in this area for a while. My uncle was the first sheriff of the area. So
That's really cool that it's like, passed down like that.
yeah, yeah. Well, they have a progression of it, and it goes to the youngest son. So it'll go to my youngest son, and I've got everything convoluted where he can't sell it. If he doesn't want it, it goes to my other son, and I've got it all worked out. So it'll go like that, and I've kept my word to my dad. So
Yeah.
after I'm gone and they burn me, it's up to them what they do.
Yeah, that's really cool that it stayed in the family like that.
Yeah, well, it's been a struggle. I mean, there's been one of my relatives got hung in the front yard when Sherman came through. They were trying to find stuff, so they hung him out there. They weren't hanging him to kill him; they were hanging him to get him to tell where he had what little bit of stuff he had hid. And they say he told, and but that and there's been all kind of deaths at my house too. Just people at home. They died. They're here on their sick
Yeah.
bed, and they
Hmm.
die. And it don't bother me. I'll go in there and sleep, and they'll knock on the door if they want to rattle me for a little while.
Yeah.
So what kind of jobs have you had?
Um, when I first got out of high school, I went to beauty school and did hair for a little while, but I didn't like it. So
Oh,
I'm like a professional go to school person. Then I went to massage therapy school and I did Reiki through that, and I did that for a little while. Not I didn't make enough to cover the 10 grand in debt I was in at the time,
yeah.
and then I did phlebotomy for a little while. Went to school for that and worked in the children's hospital and did that, and then I worked in like hospice as a CNA. I did that for a long time.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So I was always the one to prepare the bodies because the other nurses did not like to do it. So, and
Oh,
it didn't
really?
bother me. So I did that a lot. But I really I just like been, working with people, especially old
Yeah.
people. Like they have a soft spot in my heart.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I tell you, it's amazing. I'll say that now, but I just lost one of my best friends. He was 93, and he was a World War II vet, old Navy guy. I like that. My old man was a Navy guy, and I just like those Navy guys for what they're
Hmm.
straight to the point, and it's no wishy washy with them. Love them to death. But we just lost him, and he's a heck of a good guy. But just the stories that he told me, about coming up and stuff and being in the Navy. Oh
Hmm.
man! But those people, we're losing them every day, unfortunately.
Yeah, and and the generation nowadays, I wish they would appreciate what it really means and the knowledge they could learn by sitting down and talking to an elder, talking to somebody older from another
Yeah.
generation. There's so much to learn. I could listen to elderly people talk all day long and tell me stories. I love it. There's so much you can learn that they
Oh
don't
yeah.
teach you in school, that they don't, you don't learn living in the city. There's just so much to listen to and learn.
Yeah. My nanny, she lived in South Carolina, which I stay in North Carolina, right on the edge, North South Carolina line. But she'd tell me stuff, and I was so little that I really should have been down there taking notes. But just stuff she'd tell me about gardening stuff. And later on, I got
Hmm.
where I was questioning her about it, and she was starting to kind of her faculties were starting to diminish some. So some of the stuff was good information. Some of it was she couldn't remember, but I wish I'd have been doing that for quite some time. So
Yeah, all of my grandparents have been gone since I think my 2000.
yeah,
So that was my last grandmother that passed away. So my grandpa's all passed away. One died when I was 3 months, and one when I was about 6 years old, 7 years old. But I still remember sitting with him, in a hospital bed in my grandma's house, and he had just had his leg amputated, and he would tell me stories. I would always say, "You, what was it like in the war?" And I don't think he wanted to talk about it at the time, but I was little and I didn't really
yeah,
pay attention.
yeah,
But I would always sit there with him.
yeah, yeah. Most of those guys, you can tell the guys who saw stuff because they never talked about it. That
Yeah, he
because
would change the subject a lot.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Because
Like they
my
you don't want to
dad,
know.
the Navy guys around here, it was like a mafia. They looked out for each other. If something was wrong, you had two or three guys there to help you. And all I'm Navy guys. And it was because when I was little, I couldn't talk that good and had a real
Mhm.
bad speech impediment, so I didn't talk out of embarrassment. Well, a lot of those guys would get me to talking because they wanted to be able to understand. My family could understand me, but like other people couldn't. But those guys had taught with me to purposely learn how to, what I was saying. But they were so good to me, and I love them. And I remember every one of them, and for doing that, and it kind of brought me out of my shell a lot because they just, come on, what have you been doing today? And they'd sit there and
Yeah.
they'd ask me over and over, trying to understand what I was saying.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's true, Jenny. Old people don't have any filter.
Definitely not, especially the ones that end up with dementia. Whew.
Oh
But
yeah,
I like them feisty though.
yeah, yeah. And I like them because they don't put on the airs or anything. It's just here it is, and here's how I am. You either
Hmm.
like it or you don't. You know.
They've lived a different kind of life, and
Oh
more
yeah,
of
yeah,
taking care of yourself and doing things for yourself, and not like it is now.
yeah. And most of them, my grandma, she had her own garden up till she was in her 80s, and my aunt was going to make her do away with the garden, and I knew that was going to be interesting. And she told her mama, she said, "Yes, I would do away with that garden." She said, "Let's see you try." And I was always wondered about that. And I was like, "Oh gosh, I ain't no telling what's going to happen." Everybody in the chat, I'm trying to keep up. Thank y'all for coming. Y'all didn't expect to see me on here tonight, I know. Uh, but is it me though, really? Think about that. Am I disguised? You never know. Uh, anyway, so did you grow up on a farm, or that was just an interest you had?
No, but like ever since I can remember, I would bring home like stray kittens or dogs that I found, turtles, I mean, whatever kind of animal. So, I mean, I've always had like a
Uh,
really strong connection with animals. Always.
oh yeah, yeah. I'm that way too. That's like when I found my new roommate Matilda. She is a little bitty thing, but she was like, this was somebody's pet because she was like on me, and she's still that way. If I have to put her in the utility room so I get some sleep, or either she's wanting to lay on my chest or bopping me in the head, wanting some attention, and but it's so funny because that little bitty kitten, she'll fight with Stretchy, not scared of him, and he could swallow her. And but she was chasing him around the house one day, and they're up there biting at each other. But he just kind of acts like she'll put her little paw in his mouth, and he'll go down. I'm like, please don't let that cat lose his paw. But he knows how to gentle to be with her, and because he'll bite me, he'll pinch me, but he likes to get my reaction out of me.
Yeah, we've got one little kitten in the house still. We had some foster kittens, some rescues, and I've bottle fed them since they were like almost 2 weeks old, and they're about I think he's about 6 weeks old now, but he's so tiny. The rest of them have been rehomed, but this one is still has like the really scruffy looking hair, and he's just really, really tiny. He can still fit in my
Yeah.
hand. So he's hanging out for a while. I don't know if we'll end up keeping him or not, but I have an outside
Uh,
cat, and I guess outside cats are just a little more territorial. I'll let her in sometimes, and she just hisses at him. She doesn't like him, so I'm not sure if he'll stay or not. But he's a handful. He's
hey,
feisty.
Susan, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. But I'm trying to concentrate on my next questions and glance at the chat, make sure everything's all right. But I appreciate y'all coming by.
Hello, everyone.
If
I'm
y'all
using my
hadn't,
phone so I can see some of the chat, but not all of it.
yeah, my eyes are so bad. My eyes are getting worse too. God. But if y'all hadn't checked out Amber's channel, check her out. And she has a whole array of stuff going on over there. And she's got a video that's going to be dropping soon. And would that be in this next week, Amber? Or
Yes, yeah.
okay, she's got another video coming out. Keep an eye on her channel.
So I had my daughter's old swing set that I wanted to sell like a couple weeks ago. So
Uh-huh.
I pressure washed it and it looks really good. And this lady, because I have a goat group. That's all, I don't ever get on Facebook anymore except to like moderate the group maybe once a week. So she's in this group of mine, and she had saw that I posted this on the marketplace. So she messages me and she's like, "I'll trade you 2 goats for it." I got 2 more goats at the house now,
Oh,
but
really?
they're both boys, so they're little. They're only like 12 weeks old. I had
Uh,
them in a stall and I let them out, and I have six females. These ones are little though, and my females are all like making these weird noises. They're stalking these boys and chasing them down, and the little ones are like, "Leave me alone." So I had to move them today, which is why I was fixing the fence. I moved them over with my chickens, and they've got this big house coop thing they can go in for right now. But yeah, they're my ladies like them a little too much. So, but they're
uh,
too little right now. I mean, they probably could breed if mine were smaller, but they're not interested in them right now. But my
yeah.
females are just screaming for them. It's so funny.
So these baby goats are still intact.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Eli's got a question for you. Hey, if y'all got a question, type it in large letters. And uh, Amber, have you ever been attacked by a spirit?
Yes. Um,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, I think the video, was it tonight it premiered? I had one set up to premiere tonight, but my Wi-Fi's been out, so I wasn't able to be in the chat. But definitely whatever's in my woods started affecting me last week. I
Uh-huh.
could feel it though. I knew it was happening. I knew I didn't feel right. And I did a lot of like cleansing and clearing meditations, and I soaked myself down with some Florida water. So I got rid of, I fixed that one, but I've had some scary experiences like in the past before I knew how
Uh-huh.
to halfway help myself. I would get tormented by things. And I always say that like this one experience I had it was horrible. For me, it was. It may not sound like that to other people, but um, I would always hear, and this is when my daughter, she's 8 now, so she was like just a few months old. We were home alone, and her dad was out of town for a wedding, and we're laying in the bed, and I think it had been a couple months, I would hear this old lady, she'd come and get right in my ear and scream my name at night. Like as soon as I lay down, she'd be like, "Amber," really loud, and it would hurt my ear. And she would just keep on and on. And I mean, it was horrible. And then I would hear this man's footsteps walk down the hallway, and he would just stand there and stare at me. Well, this particular night, he walked over to the bed and grabbed my ankle and jerked me out of bed.
Wow.
So I ended up grabbing her, and I went into the living room and I turned all the lights on and slept on the couch that night. And I literally cried myself to sleep. But that's when, like, if it wasn't for that moment, I don't think I would have reached out to anybody to kind of get some guidance on what to do. Because that's when
Uh-huh.
I realized that, hey, I've got to do something to learn how to protect myself and keep these things from bothering me. So as bad as that was, I'm grateful for it because I learned a lot from that happening.
Yeah. I I was attacked once. I was in Georgia for a brief spell on a assignment I was on. I was in a bad area. That's what you do when you try and when you are frugal and trying to get the cheapest rent. You
Mhm.
get in some bad areas. And I went to bed that night, and I was always on edge, and I went to bed, and all of a sudden my whole chest seized up. I couldn't breathe, so I was trying to get up where I could get air, and I started praying, and it, you know, got off. Well, it was about a day or two later. They were making some uh, changes on the job site, and they gave me
Mhm.
They said, "Do you want to go home?" I said, "Yeah." So ended up they called me. I was already packed and gone, and they called me. They said, "Hey, we decided, we'll do this and do that for you if you stay another 2 weeks till we can get somebody in." I said, "I'm already gone," and pointed home. I said, "And I never worked for the company again." And but they, yeah, come on back. I was like, "No, I ain't, no, 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 I will not be
Like,
back."
"Oh, gosh." Yeah,
Yeah, you know. Well,
that's
that
definitely scary.
Yeah, well, that's amazing. That's what cultivated your interest. Was any of your like aunts or grandma or anybody were they uh of um I'm trying to think of the
Intuitive?
word. What?
I said intuitive?
Yeah, that's the word.
Um, on my mom's side, all of them, yes,
Oh,
and
really?
several of my cousins. Definitely, my mom, and she has a twin sister, and then my aunt who passed away in November, last November. They were all, well, my aunt who passed away, she was very intuitive. Like, she would hear things and kind of see things at her house, and but it was like it wasn't just at her house. It's something that had, kind of always have been happening. My mom used to have prophetic dreams. Like, she would dream about certain things that would happen, and they would happen.
Uh-huh.
But she had to learn how to control her dreams, which I can't do that. Like, she would completely change the scenes in her dream, but she had to learn how to do that, to keep it from, I guess, things from bothering her.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I
and
know
then
a
I
lot
knew
of times.
huh.
I know a lot of times I'll have dreams like if I'm going through a rough period. I know I
Hmm.
was going through a real rough period there at one time, and one night I know it was all my relatives, but I couldn't see them. It was like I was looking through a smoked glass. I could recognize all these voices, but we were outside. We were in a grove of pine trees, and evidently there was a cookout going on. I never ate no food though, but I went from table to table talking to all these relatives. And I woke up and I said, you know what? Everything's going to be all right. And
Hmm.
everything changed. It just went from, crap to, pearls after that.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
what I have a lot of sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but I more on the I do side, but I have a lot of like really detailed dreams that'll wake me up, and but it's weird ones. It involves like people shape shifting into animals, and it'll just be weird stuff. I don't know that they ever make sense, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you ever have problems solved in your dreams?
Um, Not really, but a lot of times I don't realize I'm dreaming, if that makes sense. Like, it's I don't differentiate, like, if it's a dream from reality, I guess. Like, I don't know,
Uh,
but I can't change them. I don't know how to do that stuff yet. I haven't tried. I don't know how to do that subconsciously.
oh, yeah. Yeah. Eli wants to know, have you ever had an attachment?
Just from the ones in the woods at my house recently, but it was only for like that day, or maybe 2 days, because I was aware of it happening. Like, well, once it happened, I was aware of it.
Uh-huh.
But like I said, that's when I did like I totally think I think everybody should meditate. I love meditating. There's so many of them available. If even the guided meditations, like on YouTube, there's hundreds of them. And I always tell people, like, especially when I do readings for people, I'm like, if you don't like one, if you search one and you don't like it, or it makes you feel uncomfortable, find another one, because there's so many of them. But the negative energy clearing ones, those are awesome, and they can, get rid of all that junk, like all that negative junk that we pick up. And it doesn't have to be from spirits. It could be from, like, been around negative people, or sad people, just different people we encounter during the daytime, or
Oh,
at
yeah.
work, or wherever. It helps get rid of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I know a lot of times it's not so much now because I've kind of taken some steps, but I used to get real mad in some certain dreams. There'd be certain people in there, and there was this one
Hmm.
individual that I was having problems with. So ended up, I happened to be out in my front yard, and the individual was driving by and pulled over, wanted to talk to me. We'd already had a little bit of uh, bad blood going anyway. He wanted to talk, so I went ahead and just gave it to him both barrels. And after I did that, it seemed like the dreams subsided for a long time after that. I hate to have to do it like that, but it'd been a long time coming.
Yeah,
But
it's
other than that,
noisy here.
yeah, I hear you fine. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. And nothing's going on here except I think there's some crickets and frogs baying across the field. Well, it's getting about 8 o'clock, and I've kept you quite some time, and I appreciate you coming on and talking with us.
No, I had fun.
And,
No
yeah,
problem.
yeah, I've been trying to set this up, and after I jumbled up Jared King's interview, I was like, oh gosh. So I wanted try it again. So I think I've got the hang of it. So I'm going to start doing interviews. And if anybody wants to be interviewed, let me know. You're more than welcome to come up here and let's chat. And oh, you did great on trivia too. I thought I was pretty good at trivia, but evidently I'm not as good as I think I am anymore.
Well, probably anybody around my age or older that live here would they would know him as
Oh,
well.
really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I get trivia sent to me, but I get synonyms sent to me. You'll get the word, then you have to pick out the synonym. And
Hmm.
I just kind of use that to keep my mind active. And so far, I've got 100 on the synonyms, and I've kind of backed off the trivia a little bit. I'll pick it back up. And
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. That was fun to do.
yeah. Well, hey, thank you, husband, again for bringing you out to the church. I'm glad the mosquitoes aren't tearing you up out there. And I see you
No,
ain't got on
what?
that
It's
head.
cold here. It's not. Maybe that's why it's cold. Like it's been getting like in the 40s at night, and I don't like it.
Yeah, because I noticed you had on that heavy jacket the other night because I made a comment about it. I said you acting like it was cold. And
It was. It gets so cold at the house, and I don't like cold weather anymore. I used to when I was a kid, but I just don't like it. I think a lot of it stems from farming. When it's 20 degrees and all the waters are frozen, and I've got to get out there and 8 inches of snow and
yeah,
ice. I hate it. I hate doing that. But yeah, and our road gets really bad. We live, almost 7 miles out of one lane road that's super. If anybody's ever been to West Virginia, you know that it's like really curvy. But
yeah.
they don't really scrape our road when it snows. So if it snows a lot, we're kind of stuck at home. If our power goes out, then it takes them forever to fix it. So I just, I
And
don't know.
if you're
I just don't
going
like
into
it.
West Virginia, folks, make sure you got plenty of ones because they got some tolls in West Virginia.
I wish they would
You
stop
know,
that too. Our roads are horrible, horrible. Our roads are just terrible here.
what they're really wow. That is
Yeah, they
hard to
haven't
believe
patched
because
our
those
road
tolls,
for years.
yeah, because those tolls. I mean, they've got like God, and they're on the main. And if I'm correct, last time I went through there, I hit three, maybe four.
There's four. If you're going like on 64 east or west, mainly east, like up toward Beckley, you'll hit three of them. But
Uh,
they always say it goes for the roads, but I don't know what they're doing with it.
yeah.
We've got some crazy potholes.
Yeah. And, yeah, it was. Gosh, I remember that. I went to New Jersey. This has been years ago, and I was working for a company, and I need to go up there to pick up a load for them. And this wasn't a big truck. I drove a van and a trailer to tell you, how small the load
Hmm.
was. And I had my debit card and I had the company credit card, and I had a toll up going into New Jersey, and you had to have cash on you. And just so happened, I had like $100. That was all I carried. So I had to pay like 40 to get in and 40 to get out. And I'm like, my gosh, they paid me
Really?
back. There was no problem on that. And I was like, man, I wish y'all had told me about the toll. And the guy said, yeah, I forgot about that. And,
That's a
but there
lot.
were, yeah, it is. Because they could turn me a commercial vehicle because I had the trailer on there. And because they had those man toll booths like they have in West Virginia.
Hmm.
And thank you, Debbie. And well, we'll shut this down, Amber. I appreciate you coming on and talking with us.
No problem.
And and actually everything worked out, and I'm so glad. Of course, I was in a private comment section. I saw people were here, but I couldn't see comments. And finally, I figured out I need to go back to another board, and I figured it out. So, but hey, well, thank you. Hey, make sure you thank your husband for
I will.
going up there with you. Tell him I appreciate
Oh, he's good. He's watching the game, so he's happy.
it.
All right.
Bless
Well,
his heart. Hey,
thank
thank
you,
you.
everybody. For chatting. Thanks for
Hey,
having me.
oh, thank you. Hey, everybody. Thank you for stopping by. And if you hadn't already, checked out Amber's channel. And hey, Jerry, check your email. I'm going to send you an email. I need to get you up here and talk to you too. And but everybody, I appreciate it. And I will see y'all next Sunday with a surprise. Have a good night, Amber. Well, everybody, thank y'all for stopping by. Come back again when you will. Share, comment, like, hit that subscribe button. God bless. Love y'all.